No quick fix for the Tories, says Kemi Badenoch. I'm going to read into this piece from the BBC, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from the BBC with a headline of "No quick fix for the Tories," says Kemi Badenoch. The Tory leader has insisted she will not be rushed into policy positions, claiming there is no quick fix following her party's defeat in the July general elections. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. So I know the Conservatives are not really one that's broadly people will find appealing or want to talk about a lot because of where they are and the situation they're in. But I do think it's important to remind ourselves that as we come to the end of this year, to remind ourselves of just how bloody disgraceful the Tories are. You know, it's really, really important to emphasise that the Conservatives left office they left the UK and they left the office. They left everything in an absolute state. They have left us all worse off. Unless you are a billionaire or millionaire, we have all been made worse off as a direct result of political policy decisions by the Conservative government. They have handled things so badly on so many levels, on so many things, and we are all worse off. But the one thing that still infuriates me the most out of everything, and you know, this is within our human nature, is to accept when we got things wrong and to apologise. And still to this day, we have not gotten that apology from the Conservatives. And I really want to make this very clear. If you were a Conservative voter, if you was a Conservative voter and you want to switch back to the Conservatives again in the future, if you want to think that the Conservatives can come back to power again, you have to agree with me. Or if you are a Conservative voter, why don't you want an apology? Or do you agree with me that the Conservatives shouldn't be allowed anywhere near power because they're not sorry for what they've done? They've not accepted their ownership and responsibility for the mistakes they've made. This is one of the things. The same group of people now sit in the opposition are sitting on this high horse of thinking that they left things in a good place. They left the country in a great place. They left the UK in a great place. They didn't. People have said this on the streets time and time again. Story after story. High levels of migration. No police force. High levels of theft. Broken national healthcare service. Crumbling schools. The housing crisis. It can go on and on and on. The sewage in our waters. We've said this so many times. But this is all under their watch. You know, and the TCA deal, the Trade and Cooperation Agreement that we did when we left the European Union. That deal, many people have blamed on the Conservatives because they're the ones who negotiated it. It was never a cross-party reference decision on that deal. They are the ones who made it, signed it, and put it through. This is the situation we are in. And there is no remorse whatsoever from them. So she's absolutely right to say that there is no quick fix for the Tories. But the first step is accepting your mistakes and apologising for them so that people can actually see, they generally realise, so that people can actually say, okay, well, at least they've admitted that they've been in the wrong. If they can do that, they're going a step in the right direction to win back hearts and minds. But until then, they're going to sit in the shallows, and more of their voters are going to turn against them. They're going to go to Reform. Some will go back. Some will go to Labour. Some might go to the Greens, and some might even go to Lib Dems, or some may not vote at all. Because until the Conservatives show that, there's nothing is going to change for them. They are going to sit in opposition. And it's entirely possible that in the future, the Conservatives may become nothing more than a shallow party. And Reform could be the new rise in power. It's entirely possible, because very, very, very much so. Many people are sick and tired of choosing between red and blue, and many people are putting their vote towards Nigel Farage and Reform. And the polls and the majority and quite a huge chunk of the population, both in England, but not a huge as a percentage voted for reform in Scotland, and a percentage of so voted for Wales in Wales as well, but quite a big chunk in England as well. And they're not taking it seriously. They're not taking any of it seriously. So she became the party's sixth leader in less than 9 years when she was elected at the start of November. And in an interview with BBC's Radio 4 Today programme, she said the public kicked out the Conservatives because the party was not trusted and did not deliver, adding building trust is something that takes a while. It also starts with an apology. Badenoch also dismissed concerns that our approach of not pinning down policy decisions could leave a vacuum that might be filled by Reform UK. Yeah, because we don't know, I don't know any of their policies. So because we don't know what their policies are, well, they said they want to bring back Rwanda, which was a dead horse anyway. But that's about it, I think, that comes to my mind when I think of Conservative policies. Like, we know, like, what do the Conservatives stand for? What are you going to offer me? Like, you want to win back my vote. What are you going to give me? What are you going to offer me? You know, you're saying Labour bad. Okay, what are you offering me? This is one of the biggest crux when I think about if a political party wants to sell you something, wants to earn your vote, that's the thing you need to turn to and say, what are you going to offer me? What are you going to give me? What are you going to do for me that's going to make my life better? Speaking to Amol Rajan, Badenoch said, reform is saying stuff because it hasn't thought it all through. You can't give easy answers if you haven't thought it all through. There's a big difference between reform and the Conservatives. Reform can say whatever they want because they've not had power. So we don't know how they're going to do in power. But you guys have had power. You guys have history. You know, your history speaks for itself. Reform can say whatever they want because they're new. They're different in the minds of many people. They see them as an alternative. So until they're in power, you can't judge them on what they can and can't do, really. I do the thinking of what people are going to get with new leadership under me through conservatism, not knee-jerking analysis. That's what we are here for, not just what we are against, she said earlier in the interview. Badenoch said she would not rush out policy positions within 6 weeks and people would need to be patient. But she wanted to ensure people that she believed she was telling the truth, that she could earn their trust. In response, the Reform leader, Nigel Farage, said the Conservative leader doesn't understand the level of betrayal means that the Tory brand is broken. She personally bears heavy responsibility for this. During the leadership contest, Badenoch deliberately avoided specific policy positions, focusing instead on Conservative principles. But some in the party, including Tess Valley's Mayor Ben Hodgson, have warned against leaving a void on key issues such as migration that could be filled by reform. It's already been filled by reform to be expected, because they already let people down on that. Houston told the BBC this month that there was a big opportunity for the Tories. Because Prime Minister Keir Starmer had left the field on the issue of migration, has called for the party to put forward a sensible narrative. And during the interview, Badenoch acknowledged again that her party had let people down in areas of migration. She said the numbers were too high, having previously pledged to put a cap on arrivals in the UK, though she's not specified what level should we consider acceptable. Now, migration hit a record in the year to June 2023, with the difference between those arriving in the UK and leaving standards at 906,000 according to the Office of National Statistics, the RNS. The net figure dropped to 728,000 in the year to June 2024. The previous Conservative government's key migration policy was the Rwanda deportation scheme, designed specifically to deter small boat crossings. This was never going to work, never going to happen. It was a waste of taxpayer money. Don't know how many times I need to tell you this. And those who continue to defend it, honestly, there's no basis, there's no logical basis for this. Like, I really need to understand this. Those who still continue to defend this policy, right? This was never going to stop someone getting in a boat trying to come to the UK. It was never going to stop them. They're still going to try and come. You know, it doesn't stop. It doesn't fix the issue. No flights were able to take off to the East African country before July's election after numerous legal challenges, and Labour swiftly scrapped the scheme after winning power. The new government has focused on tackling the criminal gangs involved in people smuggling, with Sakir announcing an extra $75 million to go to policing UK borders in November. Now, at a press conference last month, Badenoch said the Conservatives still believe a deterrent was necessary but did not commit to a revival of the Rwanda scheme. And in today's interview, Badenoch also acknowledged that the local elections scheduled for May next year would be different for her party, but said it was a marathon, not a sprint. And she said the Conservative Party is under changed leadership, and I think that the voters will start to see that, but it's going to be slow and steady. It's the tortoise strategy, that's not the hare. I disagree with people on the last Prime Minister's questions Like, people said that Kemi got destroyed again at the last Prime Minister questions. I did not see that at all. I thought she actually was a hell of a lot better at the last Prime Minister's questions before the new year. Like, I generally, like, from my perspective, I thought she was better, far much better. But whether or not she will be able to continue to do that, I don't know. But she has to show that she's winning over, that she's better than Keir. And even though, yeah, in my opinion, I thought she was better, when it came to the questions, yes, there were times, yes, she slipped up, obviously. Even though she was better, she still has a long way to go to prove people wrong. I mean, I just don't see her as a future Prime Minister. I really don't. Farage told the BBC last week that reform was in open negotiations for USB. And yeah, we're not going to talk about that. It's Musk. That's just something different. I've already talked about Musk and Farage and whatnot. I'm not going to talk about that. You want to talk about that? They could talk about it in another video. But as for the Conservatives, like, they need to accept. They need to accept where they are. They need to accept that they failed. They've let people down. They need to accept ownership and responsibility for their actions. And until they do, they will stay exactly where they are. Like Kemi's not, like, I don't. This is the thing that really infuriates me most. Right? They say that they've made mistakes, but they won't admit that they are sorry for any of the things that they've done. They're not sorry. This is the thing that really infuriates me the most as a voter, you know. And I think, yeah, any Conservative voter out there should feel very, very angry that the Conservatives don't care, because that's how it comes across. It comes across to a lot of people as like they don't care, that they're carrying on as normal sort of thing. And it's just like, you guys were in power for 14 years. Do you realise how much damage you guys have left? No, they're not sorry at all. So here's the question. Why should you vote for them if they're not even sorry for what they've done? So what do you guys think? Do you actually think Kemi's going to be is going to still be there after the next? Do you think maybe she'll survive 2025? Do you think she'll be gone by then? I'm not sure. There's a lot of food for thought on it. But, you know, I just don't think, I don't know if she's going to make it all the way to the next general election. But what do you guys honestly think? Do you think she will? Do you think she'll be gone before then? What do you guys make of the situation around the Conservatives? Let me know your thoughts and more down in the comment section below. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share this across social media so others are notified of this video. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing, because it really does help support the channel. If you want to go one step further and financially support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p. Or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.